MAGA Fox reporter Peter Doocy continues his audition to be Donald Trump's press secretary every single day at these White House press briefings, and today was especially bad. So bad, in fact, that Doocy was laughed at by the rest of the journalists in the room with him when he was shut up and shut down by Karine Jean-Pierre, and we are going to get into that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. But before we get into Peter Doocy, of course, there is a lot of breaking news coming out of Donald Trump's cabinet appointees, with the news that Matt Gaetz will be Donald Trump's nominee for the DOJ. So before we get into Doocy, I want to hear a response from Adam Kinzinger that I think is so spot on about the state of these appointments right now.
So it just got word. It's Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, Tulsi Gabbard for DNI. Tulsi loves Russia. She loves Assad. Assad is a butcher. And she was a member of a cult too, by the way. Somebody else can look that up. Matt Gaetz is truly being suspected of sex with an underage girl. I don't even know if you call it sex. Statutory rape? Yeah. Look, guys, this is not normal. I know you voted for it, but this is a problem. Senate, you better stop some of this. Or literally years and years of norms and decency out the window. Faith leaders, you voted for this. Some of you. Like a guy that's being suspected of being with an underage girl. All right, 4 years, but we're going to stand here and fight against it.
America is getting exactly what we voted for. Not what you and I voted for, certainly. We wanted to keep the Russian spies and the criminals out, but no, we're getting Tulsi Gabbard, we're getting Matt Gaetz, we're getting Fox hosts in the most important cabinet positions. Donald Trump doesn't care. He wants to surround himself with cultists and protect himself at all costs. And that is the reason why what Peter Doocy asked was so laughable, and we're going to check that out right here.
Peter.
Thanks, Green. Did President Biden show incoming President Trump anything classified?
No.
No. Why not?
Why would he? This was an opportunity for them to speak candidly, openly. I've said to you that it was gracious, it was incredibly substantive, and I'll just leave it there.
The last time these two were together in the same room was at the debate. They talked a fair amount about playing golf. Do you know if a plan was made for them to play golf in President Biden's retirement?
Actually, that's not the last time they saw each other. They saw each other at September 11th. I'm going to move on. Go ahead, Ed.
Thanks, in the meeting, we saw a unified front related to a transition in the Oval Office meeting. But a lot was said on the campaign trail, like Trump is a dangerous threat to our country and our democracy. Was there an apology today?
I'm sorry?
Was there an apology from
from
President
whom?
Biden for the words, some of the words used?
An apology from the President Biden.
To President-elect Trump for some of the words that was used on the campaign trail.
Look, and I've answered this a couple of times about a threat to democracy in the past week. The president is going to always feel obligated to be honest with the American people. What he says still stands. And it's not just him. You heard this from former staffers. You've heard it from the former chief of staff, John Kelly, and others. You've heard it directly from the president-elect, the former president, about enemy of the people. Very, very clear. Very clear. What we want to be also very clear about is the importance of listening to the will of the American people. There was an election. It is important to respect our institution. It is important to respect the free and fair elections. And that's what this president is doing. Leading by example and putting that aside and putting the American people first. But what he said still stands. And it's not just him. We should not just put this at the president. His own people said this. So I want to be really, really clear about that and not forget the facts. There are facts here that we should certainly also lift up as you're asking me these questions. Go ahead.
It wasn't just Doocy, but the other reporters asking whether Joe Biden should be apologizing for calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy. We can see now why President Biden was so justified in calling Donald Trump a threat to democracy. Look at the people he's appointing around him, that he's nominating, that he's going to fill his cabinet with. Look at the cultists. Look at the corruption. It is crazy to say that that was wrong from President Biden, especially when those around Donald Trump who aren't around him anymore because of how crazy he was, yeah, they said the same thing. And now those people aren't around anymore. Now it's Matt Gaetz. Now it's Tulsi Gabbard. We should be scared. And especially when there are Republicans who are warning about how bad of a guy the Matt Gaetz is, like we can see right here.
You got to think about this guy. This is a guy that the media didn't give a time of day to after he was accused of sleeping with an underage girl. And there's a reason why no one in the conference came and defended him, because we had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night. This is obviously before you got married. And so when that accusation came out, no one defended him, and then no one on the media would give him a time of the day. All of a sudden he found fame because he opposed the Speaker of the House back in November. And he's always stayed there, and he was never going to leave until he got this last moment of fame by going after a motion to vacate.
It's important to know Congressman Gaetz has never been charged with any sex trafficking crime, and he gave this statement to CNN in response. I don't think Markwayne Mullin and I have said 20 words to each other on the House floor. This is a lie from someone who doesn't know me and who is coping with the death of the political career of his friend Kevin. Thoughts and prayers. I'm joined now by
Even they know what a horrible person Matt Gaetz is. And what's so sad is that Markwayne Mullin, that Republican senator right there, has already speculated that he's probably going to vote to confirm Matt Gaetz. These people have no spine. They don't care. They're cultists. They'll do whatever it takes to suck up to Donald Trump. It's disgusting. It's sad. It's disgraceful. I don't know how we come back from something like this, especially when you hear the other descriptions of Matt Gaetz, like this right here.
He will survive. Look, the House is a rough and rowdy place, but Mike Johnson is going to be just fine. I served 20 years in the military. It's my absolute honor to be in Congress, but I served with some real scumbags. Look, Matt Gaetz, he paid minors to have sex with him at drug parties. Bob Good endorsed my opponent, a known neo-Nazi. These people used to walk around with white hoods at night. Now they're walking around with white hoods in the daytime.
I cannot believe that this is the point that we're at. But I actually kind of can, because this is what we were warning folks about. This is what we said would happen. This is what we knew was coming. This is why we were so scared, so worried, why we worked so hard to warn people. And we haven't even gotten to the economic disaster that Donald Trump is going to cause. He hasn't even put out his tariff plan, and we are already worried about the state of the country. But there's one silver lining. If there's one thing that I can try to get you to feel a little bit of hope about, it's that Rick Scott did not become the Senate Majority Leader today. So there's a possibility that we do not see the full confirmation of all of Donald Trump's appointees through recess appointments, that he doesn't just get to shove in whoever he wants to all of his cabinet positions because John Thune won't let him. Or maybe he will. Maybe he will bend the knee. Maybe the rest of the senators will as well, but we do not know that yet. And we have to continue to put the pressure out there to make sure they don't, because listen to what Lindsey Graham had to say today.
Action to Matt Gaetz as AG.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I think about that one.
Do you have any concerns about it?
We'll see.
And others spoke a little bit more at length, Jake, including Senator John Cornyn, who's also a senior member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, someone who ran for majority leader, fell short in that bid, said we'll have to do our job as a Senate, do our advise and consent function. Very noncommittal when I asked him if he would support him. And I also asked Senator Tom Tillis, another senior member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he said, Mr. Gaetz and I have jousted on certain issues between the House and the Senate. He said at the end of the day, it only comes down to whether you have the credentials and also the relationships. And of course, what Tillis was referring to was Gates' central role in pushing for the ouster of Kevin McCarthy back last year. That led to a whole back and forth. It made him very unpopular among the House Republican Conference and faced a barrage of criticism from Republicans in the Senate as well, who viewed the whole episode as showcasing how the House was dysfunctional and that how they could not govern and the like. And they pointedly blamed Gates for leading the charge against McCarthy. That, along with the questions about this ongoing House ethics investigation into alleged sexual misconduct. Gates has denied any wrongdoing, but I asked Cornyn about that too, Jake, and he said, I'm sure that will come up at the confirmation hearings. So that's one of the things that members want some answers to on that topic as well, Jake.
Interesting decision by the senator to invoke sword fighting as a metaphor there regarding Matt Gaetz.
Now, we know that Lindsey Graham is a spineless coward who will bend to Donald Trump, but if he's feeling a little queasy, a little uncomfortable about this, about the guy who is having his sex crimes investigated, being the attorney general, that criminal, maybe there are some other Republican senators who might want to pump the brakes on this one. I cannot believe this is the place that we're at. But like I have been saying since election night, if we give up now, I don't even know where this thing goes. We have to be in this every single day. We got to be calling it out every single day. And that's what I'm going to make sure we're doing right here. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.